everybody. Welcome to the Worsta webinar series around collaboration design with G Suite. My name is Natalie Sorrells, and I am excited that you're here. Today's webinar kicks off a series of webinars that will continue over the next 7 days. So we look forward to seeing a lot of you in the different sessions, and we'll cover those at the end that are relevant and make sense for you. We would love for you to join us for all of them. A couple of housekeeping items. It's a webinar. Everybody's muted by default. It doesn't mean we don't want this to be an interactive session. So if you have any questions during the session, feel free to use the questions chat panel in your GoToWebinar control panel to let us know if you have any questions. We also are recording the session, and we'll make that available on demand by tomorrow at the latest. All right, well, let's go ahead. I'm so excited to see everybody that has joined us today, and I will go ahead and kick things off here. Again, welcome to our session around collaboration design and how to really utilize G Suite. My name is Natalie Sorrells, and I lead our professional services organization here at Worsta. And throughout today's quick session, I have Preston Ferguson, who's our Director of Sales, joining us, and Brian Berchanowski, who is our collaboration design lead here at Worsta. So thank you guys for joining us. We'll kick us off here. You know, now more than ever, work is truly not a place that you go, but rather a thing that you do, right? Remote work, flexible work, these have all been perks of different organizations or buzzwords, right, over the past couple of years. But pre-COVID-19, we really only saw 4% of US workers regularly work from home. And you guys have witnessed it just as we have. In just a matter of months, it's actually become a necessity. We saw millions of businesses sprint to stand up their remote workforce. And now, during the crisis, companies are starting to actually realize the potential benefits of remote work and are considering continuing with remote work for at least a subset of their workforce, even after the crisis fades. So as remote work becomes the new normal, it is critical that companies really do have the tools in place to enable their remote teams to be productive, collaborative, and secure. So with that, let me hand this over to Preston to talk a little bit more about how we'll get there.
Awesome, Natalie. Here at Worsta, we think you can start with the core tools that your employees have used every day to get work done. That main core tool being email. The most widely used email service is Gmail, with over 5 billion monthly active users, which means most legacy tools that people are using today are obstacles, not catalysts to how work is being done. Also, now think about how those tools fit into this new normal of remote work post-COVID, being tied to VPNs and Exchange servers and working siloed. These legacy tools preserve the status quo, and according to Gallup, employees are more disengaged than ever. They're not excited about their workplace and have been doing the same thing for many years, working as individuals on their desktop, emailing file versions back and forth, storing data in siloed, disconnected places, and spending too much time on repetitive, mundane tasks. This old way of work creates frustration and prevents employees from reaching their potential. So the real question is, how can you prepare your business to rapidly change and innovate while expanding on the tools that they use in their everyday lives? That's where G Suite comes into play. G Suite isn't just the popular communication and productivity apps you know and love, like Gmail, Docs, Sheets, Drive, and Chat. It also includes everything you need to have productive, high-fidelity video meetings, enterprise-grade telephony, the power of Google search at your fingertips to find data, and everything you need to manage your users and keep them safe and secure. With secure, intuitive apps that are built for the cloud from the beginning, G Suite is the present and future, and it's helping people reimagine how they work. Google is also looking towards that future, and recently Google released the G Suite Essentials SKU that includes Google Meet and Drive, which is all their productivity tools. This allows potentially for your organization to take advantage of video, unlimited cloud storage, and the collaboration tools without making the lift to switch your email, at least not yet. With Essentials, you can be up and running in hours, not weeks, collaborating, sharing, and moving your business forward. Today's working environment also requires you to be agile and change direction on the fly. G Suite is fast. Fast enables your people to move faster to drive impact. With true real-time collaboration that's built for the cloud, with 99.9% uptime, teams can work in parallel to move faster than ever before. For example, in G Suite, there's only one version of a document, which greatly reduces complexity and speeds up collaboration. People no longer waste time waiting for the right version of the file to be sent over email, or spending hours editing the wrong version. Version control and redundancy issues are eliminated while retaining version history that's updated with every keystroke. As you can see in the slide, teams can create together in real time, quickly reach consensus, and make decisions on any device, Mac, iPhone, Android, PC, in any place, and even while on the go.
This is Brian Berchanowski with Worsta. Let me talk a little bit to this slide because one of the things that I've done over the last 10 years is helped a lot of organizations adopt G Suite. And I'll just give you an example pulled from my memory here of how some of our customers have been able to use this. One specific example that I like to cite a lot involves a manufacturing customer that I was working with a few years ago. And this is just a great example of how they're able to do things more quickly. So their old process involved them using an Excel spreadsheet to do a weekly report that all of the different department heads would update, and then they would present this update to their plan manager. And I forget what day of the week it was, but in any case, they would all, obviously everyone kind of waits until the last minute to do it. And because this file was stored on one of their network drives, they couldn't all edit it at once. So you'd wait until 10 minutes before the meeting and you'd need to get your update in there, and it's locked because somebody else is editing it. So needless to say, we were able to take that process and convert it to a Google Sheet, and they were all able to edit simultaneously, and they were definitely tickled to death. It sped everything up, and they were all big fans of using Google Sheets. So just one real life example of being able to move more quickly. And I'll hand it off to Preston for our next slide here.
Cool. Thanks so much, Brian. There are approximately 110 million students right now using G Suite in schools and colleges. This is the future workforce, and G Suite is designed to put their knowledge to use. However, you don't need to be a data analyst or know how to use macros to work with data in G Suite. In Sheets, anyone can use the Explore tool to ask questions in natural language and immediately get the answer powered by Google's AI. As you can see in the slide, someone asks what the average revenue is per region and immediately gets an answer based on the data in the sheet. Explore will also include relevant charts and tables where helpful. This is a game changer and literally a lifesaver for someone such as myself. This is also something that Google can uniquely do. Their natural language processing has been trained over many years based on data from billions of Google search users. So now when we don't know an answer, you can just simply Google it, even when working within your own documents. Brian, do you have any examples of this?
Yeah, so I'll give you a couple of examples. I don't have a specific one like as good as the last one, but there are a couple of features that I really like here. So one is that Explore feature. So being able to quickly do analysis of spreadsheets without having to know necessarily how to build the formula. you can just in plain English ask Google Sheets a question, and it will kind of create a formula for you, which you can also look and see how it's built that, and then you can kind of reverse engineer it, which I've done several times. The other feature that I really like, this is another great example of like working smarter, not harder, is the search feature. So Google has Cloud Search, which is basically, I mean, I think most of us know that searching within Gmail or Google Drive or what have you is pretty good, right? The search is very fast. But there's a tool called Cloud Search that actually allows you to search across all of the different G Suite applications. So if I'm looking for, I don't know, an email from Preston or an email or something pertaining to a particular client, for instance, if I do that in Cloud Search, I will get, as a result, as search results, emails, documents, calendar events, Google Sites. So that's a really cool feature. And that's just a couple examples of things that will help employees work smarter rather than harder.
Awesome, thanks so much. Fear of missing out. You hate to feel it, more importantly, not be a part of something. G Suite helps solve that. In G Suite, people actually adopt new ways of working together, as opposed to legacy Office tools where people continue to work individually on their desktop. Default on video and Hangout Meet encourages face-to-face interaction, no matter where you're located. Instant messaging in groups and one-on-one situations is available on any device and operating system via Google Chat. Even the ability to record meetings, trainings, company happy hours, and announcements are available to you with a few clicks. You can even create intranets with Google Sites to host company information and the next birthday party so you don't get that FOMO. Brian, have you seen companies take advantage of being more connected with G Suite?
Yeah, I definitely have, and I have some better real life examples for this one, specific examples. So I think, you know, as we alluded to earlier, the whole COVID-19 situation has really sort of driven home the need to remain connected even when you're working remotely. But even before that, you know, I've been able to work on connected teams for projects in past years using G Suite, all the different tools like chat and Google Meet and real-time collaboration and documents. Even if you have teams that are on different continents, you can still work very effectively. But I think one specific example that's very relevant and quite recent is one customer that I'm working with is a healthcare provider. And you know, when the whole COVID thing sort of exploded, really, like at the end of February and early March, they had this urgent need to disseminate a lot of information quickly to their frontline people, like the doctors and nurses, right, the frontline providers. And a lot of organizations have intranets or internal websites of some kind or another, but a lot of times they're not super user friendly. So some companies I've worked with in the past, they'll have tools like, you know, Confluence or something like that, where you almost need to, so you've got like your subject matter experts, but you almost need to work a lot of times with a team that sort of manages that resource, that site, and builds stuff for you. Well, obviously there was a need to move a lot more quickly than that. So this organization in question, they were actually able to leverage Google Sites for this. And so what they did was they had already had a few folks in the part of their organization that was sort of compiling all this information. They had a few folks who had started kind of playing around with Google Sites, so they were somewhat familiar with it. They were within a matter of literally a day or two able to build a Google site and then publish that to their employees and then continuously update it. So the folks that knew this information, that had direct access to the most recent materials, could go to the site themselves and post it almost immediately. They didn't need to file a ticket or send in a request or anything like that. And this was great for them. And they were constantly updating these resources. You know, it was like best practices for using masks and things like that, right? Or how to handle patients when they show up at the hospital, like what do we do with them, right? So that I think is one of the best, most recent examples I have of being connected across your organization. But there are a lot of the different Google tools that will do this. I guess one other thing I'll mention with regard to that site is Sites is, like all the G Suite tools, it's fairly integrated with the other applications within G Suite. So the resources that people were accessing through this site were like Google Docs, or they were PDFs or videos that were housed in Google Drive. So they were sort of embedded in this site. So it all kind of worked together very effectively.
Great, thank you, Brian, and thank you, Preston, for talking a little bit about G Suite and rolling it into some real life examples that we see. To really kind of tie it up here in the last 5 or 10 minutes, Worsta is a collaboration design firm, right? So whether your organization has like a strategic business opportunity, like adapting to the G Suite environment, or innovating in the market, or reducing costs, increasing collaboration, or you're solving specifically for a business case, like increasing productivity and collaboration, or reducing licenses, or building out an enterprise file sync and share, increasing security, solving for shadow IT, even consolidating tools, we can help, right? Our collaboration design team that Brian is a part of can partner with you to provide advisory services, so we can help. We can start by even just helping you build out that strategy design, right? Or running a proof of concept, or defining that opportunity, building that business case, just planning for a project to understand what that budget looks like in even, end of 2020, moving into 2021. We can help, of course, implementing G Suite, transforming business processes to optimize these tools, and then really just helping you build this roadmap out of innovation. A few examples of that, right? Especially recent examples. Brian and Preston both talked about, some of the things they've seen out in the field. Let me talk quite specifically around some of our recent customers. So last year, Worsta led a large New Jersey-based hospital to Google Cloud in the summer of 2019. It was an effort that was aligned with their CIO's mission to improve patient care by empowering its employees with state-of-the-art collaboration technologies. G Suite was one of the first things on the list for them. So our team helped them move over 3,500 hospital workers in just over 4 months, which is a pretty massive change, especially for a hospital to do in a very short amount of time. Right, we moved them to this modern workplace focused on connected communications and real-time collaboration with minimum disruption. That was really the key. For them, transferring their people to G Suite meant increased security for the domain. It meant the ability to offer their users world-class mobile productivity tooling. Mobile was a really big deal to them. We want the same experience from computer to mobile, interchangeable access for everybody. It decreased their response time for issues, while concurrently saving money by being able to manage the platform internally without third-party vendors. Obviously, right, summer, it was right at the end of this, in September, we went live. This move really came in perfect timing, right? Because, unknown by any of us, right? This hospital actually became, late February, mid to late February, became one of the original ground zeros for the COVID-19 outbreak that ravaged across New York and New Jersey and really the world. And in light of the pandemic, what was really interesting to kind of watch the evolution of G Suite at the hospital was their staff quickly turned to G Suite for something much bigger than just like the traditional messaging and collaboration platform that we initially rolled out, right? Which was Gmail and Drive and Calendar, and all the other tools were turned on, but the focus was there, right? Especially to do this fast with minimal impact. They started depending heavily on the tools that are there to help connect and communicate in real time. So they were using Livestream daily for executive staff to update staff on procedures and new procedures and headcount and direction. They were using Meet video conferencing for staff meetings and even for real-time patient care. And then they were using chat to quickly connect with each other inside and outside of the hospital. Another example is with an education service provider that we worked with really just over the past couple of months. So like most education service providers, this organization was not expecting sudden school closures caused by the COVID-19 outbreak. The students and families that received support through this organization already face challenges other students do not. So it was critical to rapidly enable remote learning tools to continue providing its services to families in need, to assure these learning gaps, wouldn't widen. They chose G Suite because it has everything teachers and students need to work better and to work better together in a secure environment. So G Suite's ease of use was a critical factor in selection because its faculty, staff, students were already familiar with G Suite functionality, and they felt the intuitive design of Google Classroom greatly reduced the need for any initial in-depth training right prior to launching. Remember, they had none of this prior to COVID-19, so they had to stretch within a couple of weeks really to roll this out. It also, obviously can be accessed anywhere and on any connected device. So they didn't have to make those major hardware or infrastructure investments. The cherry on top for them, especially in the work that they do with students, is the built-in accessibility features help support students with diverse needs and learning styles, and really allow them to engage, alternative avenues like voice or a screen reader. The tools are fully compatible with accessories like Braille devices or displays. Students even started taking advantage of enabling closed captioning when presenting in Google Slides. It was also really important for this company to avoid the trouble other educators ran into using less secure collaboration tools. They really needed to be sure they could control access to meetings and documents to safeguard students and families they serve. And G Suite really provided those enterprise-grade tools, security controls, and really advanced analytics needed to protect their users' information. Partnering with Worcester, really leveraging our deep collaboration design expertise, we helped develop and execute a plan where they could rapidly deploy and launch G Suite and Google Classroom to support their students and their over 500 district partners across the country in literally under 3 weeks. So it's a major sprint that had major impact where we partnered back in April with this organization. So all that, we have just a couple of minutes left, and I wanted to save time to make sure you were aware of how the series continues over the next few days. Really, right from today's session, we just wanted to set tee up the rest of the week, right? That G Suite is the tools people want, right? Over 2 billion users choose, Google Apps and G Suite, right? Including Drive, which is the most popular storage tool, including Meet that I think ticks in, over 3 billion minutes in meetings every day. And really, just under about 68% of users really do enjoy work more after adopting G Suite. So it's the tools that people want. It's a modern workspace, right? You can experience modern collaboration in real time before, during, and after meetings. It's seamlessly integrated type of solution that enables modern and secure collaboration, and it's enhanced. It's built-in state-of-the-art security to better manage your users and your data, especially now that your people may no longer be working, inside of your office network. And there's a significant cost savings with G Suite as well. All that to say, Worsted can help you get started in bite-sized quick start packages, right, to help you sprint to set up the right collaboration environment for your people, to full collaboration design approach that helps you minimize disruptions and increase time to adoption and proficiency of these tools, to full business process transformation and everything in between. So we really do invite you over the next few days to come with us on this journey and learn more specifically how different tools inside of G Suite can help your organization be more collaborative, more connected, and a more secure workplace, even when remotely dispersed. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We will stick around for another couple minutes if there's any questions that came in. Otherwise, again, have a great rest of your afternoon, and hopefully we'll see a lot of you tomorrow for our remote meetings with Google Meet. All right, I see a lot of thank yous and people dropping off, so we'll let everybody go. Thank you guys so much.